Hi guys, and welcome back to my page. It's your girl A the Poet, and we are here with a new season of Poetry and Me. So I thought to kick it off, you guys might not know much about me, so why not kick it off with a Poetry and Me A the Poet edition. So we are joined by my sister and manager, Arlyne.
Hello.
So she's going to be asking me some questions to find out about me and my journey with poetry. So shall we get into it?
Let's get into it. Woohoo! We're here to learn a little bit more about you.
Yes.
Okay, so how long have you been doing poetry?
I would say I've been doing poetry for 10 years now. Well, performing for 10 years. But I started writing at 14, which would make it 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to start writing poetry?
So it all started with journaling, all on the back of like a bit of grief. I think it was, thinking back, it was when my granddad passed away. And I think that was my first interaction with grief. And it was a little bit different because he lived in Zimbabwe and I was here, but I had memories with him. So it was kind of hard to compute. I wasn't able to go to the funeral. So it was like a lot of emotions that were kind of bottled up and that were very confusing because it wasn't the same as if my friend Linda from school, for example, had her grandfather pass away. She would be able to kind of go to the funeral, say goodbye, etc. But I didn't get that chance, so I had a lot of emotions to kind of compute. And that came in the form of like therapy of journaling. And then I came across some spoken word. It was like Def Jam spoken word, if I remember correctly. And I remember listening to the rhythm that they were performing their poems, and it literally was like a light bulb moment that, oh my God, that's the same rhythm I use.
I'm also writing poetry.
Yeah, who would have thought? And it's quite crazy because when I think of poetry and school, so at the time I would have been in high school, I wasn't like amazing at English. I was amazing at drama and like listening and speaking, but not, let's say, for example, English language. That's something I struggled with. So I would never have been to describe myself as a poet per se. So that's why I would never describe myself as a poet then. And having that light bulb moment, seeing other poets that look like me, sound like me, that's when I realized actually what I'm journaling are poems.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what age was that at that time?
Around 14, 15.
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
14, 15.
So tell us about the journey since then, because are you doing poetry full time now?
So yes, I
Okay.
am.
Okay.
So I was actually made redundant. Last year in July of last year, 2022.
Who knows?
Who knows? I was still in 2020. Who knows? But no, yeah, I was made redundant last year. And I saw that as a sign to actually go full time as both a poet and an actor.
Okay.
Yeah, so now I'm doing it full time. I'm performing, writing, trying to juggle all of like my creative endeavors
Yes.
all in one go. So if you were to ask me, what do you do? Like, what's your profession? I would literally just say like, I'm a storyteller because I tell stories in different formats.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think let's go in a little bit of depth around that.
Yes.
Like, how would you describe a storyteller?
So it would be, to me, per
Yeah.
se, it would be telling stories, basically. I hate to say it like it sounds super duper simplistic, but it's telling the stories that need to be told. So for me, it's telling the stories that I relate to, that I resonate with, and that needs to be told. I know there's been a mountain of stories that have already been told, but I think the world is just so big and vast that there are other stories that, need to be platformed and told and spread to the masses. Not everybody has heard certain stories.
Yes.
So,
And there's
yes.
always a new, interesting way
Exactly.
to tell a story.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned also you're now doing full-time acting.
I know, yeah.
For those that maybe want to follow their dreams, how did you just jump into it? Tell us about that journey.
So It's always been something that I've wanted to get into since I was probably like 10 or like 9. Like you'll remember I was in like every school production in primary school. It was like something I was super duper like passionate about. But obviously life happens and like you're told, sorry, you need a real career.
You're
like,
African.
Yep. Basically I'm African.
Get your degree.
A real one. That in their words, not mine, but in their words, it's like, get a real degree, please and thanks. So it came to like going to high school, like, okay, so what am I actually good at? So I did a chemical engineering degree. And yeah, so the dream of being an actor completely was just like overshadowed with STEM, let's say, because that is something I am also passionate about and good at. So I was like, okay, let's go into STEM. But it was at the like end of 2020, working full time, like a 9 to 5, I realized, yeah, I'm not actually happy. Well, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not living my purpose. And I had to kind of go on like a soul searching like journey on figuring out what is my purpose exactly. So it was through like meditation, prayer, and like seeking from within and from God, like what is it that I was put on this earth to do. And as I was like meditating, I literally saw such a clear vision of me like on a red carpet and 10-year-old me saying, like somebody asking 10-year-old me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And me saying, I want to be an actress. I want to be a presenter. I literally remember like so clearly saying, somebody asking me, what do you want to be? And I was like, I want to be Davina McCall. So yeah, so literally, and it's actually really funny because I don't know if you remember when we had like one play in primary school where I played Davina McCall.
Yes,
yeah, like
you loved her, especially that's the days when she was doing Big
Big
Brother.
Brother, exactly. So literally, like for me, that's all I've ever wanted to be is like telling stories and presenting and giving platforms and speaking to different people, right? So yeah, so I had that meditation vision and it literally everything started to roll through as the months went by. So in 2021, I started going to acting classes, like evening acting classes. And then I joined an amazing young actors group called Russell Actors, shout out to Russell Actors, in September of 2021, where I was actually able to participate in showcases. So we did an improv showcase, and then we did a devising play where we actually produced all of the plays, which was an amazing experience. And then I was able to procure an agent. So that's now how I actually find professional acting work, is through my agent.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like it's been absolutely like a divine path. And not everybody's path is the same, but for me, I feel like it's kind of just shown how I'm on the right path because it's kind of come like one thing after the other, after the other. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I know you can't share what you've been on because you've signed some papers.
NDAs.
Yes. But what have you been on? As in have you been on sets?
Yeah.
Have you been on TV stuff, movies or theatre? What kind of acting are you doing?
So much in literally the last 6 months. And I think I'm going to like take you guys on the journey with me.
A bit of detail.
Yeah, like because it's so crazy how fast it's all happening. So yes, TV shows. Like Arlyne said, I can't say which ones, but yes, TV shows. TV shows on like different like streaming sites like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV.
Okay.
Yeah. Just watch this space. I'll definitely share it on my socials. Theatre, yes. So I was actually involved with an amazing production as an assistant producer called Lesbian Space Crime. Shout out Lesbian Space Crime. And shout out Airlock Theatre. That was an amazing experience as well. Just being like behind the scenes. It's always like really interesting to be on the stage, but to see how much like stuff,
how it's put together.
Yeah, so many people are involved, and that was really insightful to see because I would never have known that because I don't really come from that background. So yeah, it was really very insightful to see.
Okay, no, we're really excited to see what you are in when it does come out. But kind of circling back to poetry.
Yes.
So in terms of, it feels like, okay, you stumbled across it from your journaling, but what would inspire the pieces that you'd write? You know, what got you to just keep on, because it's been 10 years now. What's been keeping you going?
I think it's because, for me, I'm one of those people, when I feel, bloody hell, I feel. And it's like very strong. Like, it not consumes me, but my feelings are so loud that I can't ignore them. And if I don't either express them as in verbally, which isn't always the most appropriate thing to do, if I don't express them somehow, I'm literally just going to explode. So it's literally like a form of therapy for me, so that I can carry on being a functioning human being, just so that I can, because sometimes when you're feeling like lots of strong emotions, right? Say, for example, pain or grief, it's like there's so much going on in like my brain, like maybe like a hurricane or a tornado, that I won't be able to focus on like day-to-day tasks. So if I then just put them down on the piece of paper, it feels like it's now maybe a more organized tornado and more organized, I can kind of compute how to move on from it, like ride through the hurricane rather than just sitting in the hurricane. You need to just keep going, because as I've seen through the 10 years of me writing, the emotions don't last forever, but the way to get through them is to feel exactly how you're feeling, compute it, write it down, and move on, because it's not for forever.
Okay, so it sounds like it's something that's deep within you, something that you'll always do.
Yeah, 100%.
Whether it's for a commercial reason or it's actually just a form of therapy for
100%,
you.
100%, yeah.
Okay. So I feel like since it's been a long career, it would be really nice to hear your first poem, if you remember it. Could you?
Okay, so
this is how Poetry and Me goes, right?
Yes, it is how it goes.
Just give us a little
Tell
bit
me you've watched the show. Tell me you've watched the show. Okay, so I won't perform the first poem I ever wrote.
Okay, why?
Because that one is, it's the first poem I've ever written. So let's leave that one in the archives. However, I can perform the first poem that I ever performed, and that was at school, and that was on the back of grief. It's called Colors. Hold on, why even bother when I can see through the colors that you portray? When we think of colors, we think of red and gray. But all of this makes me feel as if I am dead. Why do we sorrow when they pass, as if the thoughts in their mind are silent? No, they are still here with me and you, but not so clear as red and blue.
She was 40.
Yes, and it even says, like, maybe I edited it because I don't think I wrote it in this year, but on like my notes page, it's like 28th of March, 2013. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And I'm pretty sure you can share a few more later on.
Definitely.
But now, thinking about the future, we talked about the past and where you've come from and what inspired you. What do you hope to get out of, first of all, 2023?
Yes.
And then hopefully future plans that you can share?
Yes. Okay, so one thing I think before we talk about like 2023, I think one thing to do is like look back on 2022 and like the gratitude of all of the amazing things that came out of that year, and that kind of then spills into 2023.
Yes.
2023, yeah. It doesn't sound right.
That's the year we're in, I think.
But yeah, no, so 2022, one thing I'm super duper grateful for is hosting my first ever live show here at Bush Theatre. Sold out, may I just add. Love that for me, love that for us.
Love that for us.
Yeah, so I'm super duper grateful for that, and we featured two amazing poets, Anna, Margarita, and Isaac Peters, and that was an amazing experience. So going into 2023, hosting more of those like on a regular basis. So we were only able to do one event last year, so potentially doing one a quarter or more than just one event in the year is my main goal.
We've tested it out.
Yes.
It worked.
Yes.
People loved
it. Yeah.
And we will post videos so people can watch back.
Precisely.
Those Poetry and Me kind of interviews that you did.
Yeah, so that those people that weren't able to make it can see what it was like, and you can then get a bit of an insight as to what's to come at the next event.
Right.
Super duper excited for that, and I think definitely will be at Bush Theatre, because I feel like this is our home now. So yeah, we'll definitely be hosting it here.
Yes.
Just watch this space as to when it's going to be. We'll definitely let you know.
Yes.
That's one thing I really want to achieve in 2023. Another thing is to write more and actually put out more of my poems. That's
Ooh, I saw your shoulders go up.
Yeah.
You tensed a little bit there.
Oh, it's the anxiety
have
for
a
me.
little bit
Oh,
of-
it shakes. No, it's just, I don't know. I think it's never easy to share like your inner feelings and your inner thoughts. And I don't know, maybe like after the pandemic, there was a bit of a shift in me of maybe like imposter syndrome, or like that I'm not actually as good as I think I am, or I'm not good, like period. I don't know, that I just had, so that's why I didn't share so much in 2022. But we are completely rebuking that energy now.
Yes.
Like we're just gonna have to just keep going, because, and not to like sound big-headed or anything, but just kind of standing in my truth. I've been doing it for 10 years now, for one. And two, the feedback I've gotten would be a disservice, not to me, but to the people who enjoy the poetry that I write and who find solace in the emotions that I put out because they're feeling those emotions. I think that, just kind of circling back, I know this isn't the question you asked, but going back to the reason why I started performing was because there was collective grief in my friendship group and my family. And a lot of the people that were around me weren't able to articulate what they were going through. And I thought maybe this is the moment that this is the time for me to share the poetry that I've written, so that people can feel like they're not actually alone. And lo and behold, that is literally what I was told, which is honestly so insane. I'm not gonna cry. It's so insane that like I helped somebody else in their grief, that I did that. Like what? So it would be a disservice to them and to myself in the years to come, 2023 and onwards, for me not to put that stuff out. Not to put that stuff out.
You have to for that reason, because as you said, you managed to articulate what was going on in other people's hearts.
Yeah.
And then you got it out, and then you felt heard, seen.
Yeah.
And they could connect.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Ooh, looking forward to more content to come out.
Yes, it's pending. It's there in the book.
Yes.
It's there in the book, but we just need to do a bit of editing, and we'll definitely put some more content out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whilst we're on the subject though of more content,
Yes.
could you give us another poem, please?
Which poem would you like?
Decade.
Decade?
We've been talking about you having a decade-long career. It's more than a decade by now.
Yeah.
But
I think it would be
I
11.
feel like
It was
appropriate.
Yeah, it was a decade last year. So this is Decade. A love that has lasted a decade, survived the paces of life, a companion of peace. Through each moment, we have found one another. There is solace in each word, consoling in the quiet moments, whispers of peace. Once surrounded by the crowds of darkness, you hold me. Teach me patience. Even in the irregular cadence, who knew a love like this existed? Life hands us platters of pain, as if we could ever live with the shame, grief, and inevitable wound. You are what carried me in the sand, my protector. My melodic flow matches your tempo. Your rhythmic sound evokes an emotion worth more than £1 million. Everything. To lie would be pointless. You call me out on my blasphemy, my accountability. consistent in every single rhyme, no matter the time, I miss you. In the moments I forget, you remind me. Find me, be kind to thee. Guide me to spread your message. Nothing gets fresher than this. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love that poem.
Thank you.
Thank you for being open.
Yes.
Is there anything else you wanted to share with people that are watching?
I guess for one would definitely be, if you're ever thinking of writing, and not even particularly writing to put it out, but just writing to figure out the hurricanes and the tornadoes in your mind, do it. Highly recommend. Even if you don't think you're a poet, journaling is simply just organizing those hurricanes and tornadoes in your mind. I would definitely recommend it to anybody, young, small, old. Everybody should definitely do it. It's so therapeutic. And if you're ever thinking of performing or getting involved in like the spoken word scene, hit me up. You can come on Poetry and Me. I'm always open to like speaking to other poets and other writers of any kind from all over the world. So if you ever wanted to have a chat with me, definitely hit me up.
Okay. And she is at @thepoet_ on all the socials. Final question, which is what you ask all your guests.
Yes.
If you could have a conversation with anyone,
Yes.
dead or alive, who would it be and why?
It's tough. This is such a tough question.
And you ask everyone.
I know, and I think like I should have been a little bit more prepared because I knew this question was going to come up because it is Poetry and Me. I would have a conversation with my best friend that passed away, Jeffrey, for obvious reasons. It's just like, it's been 10 years since he passed away.
A decade.
A whole decade, indeed. And, you know, it's just, I have dreams where we have conversations and whatnot, which is obviously amazing and a gift in itself, like it's a privilege. But just to actually have a tangible conversation would be, I think, life-changing, because he's just somebody that I really miss every single day, because we played such a pivotal, I don't want to cry, played such a pivotal role in my life.
Yeah.
We've been best friends since birth. So, so that's who I would spend 24 hours or have a conversation with.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
I know this all must have been hard, but
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and I
Thank
hope the
you.
people watching appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Until next time.
Okay.